The young man was overwhelmed as he read. Morel said not a word. What could he say? What need he add to such a desperate proof in figures? And have you done all that is possible, Father, to meet this disastrous result? Asked the young man, after a moment's pause. I have, replied Morel. You have no money coming in on which you can rely? None. You have exhausted every resource? All. And in half an hour, said Maximilian in a gloomy voice, our name is dishonored. Blood washes out dishonor, said Morel. You are right, Father, I understand you. Then extending his hand towards one of the pistols, he said. There is one for you and one for me, thanks. Morel caught his hand. Your mother, your sister. Who will support them? A shudder ran through the young man's frame. Father, he said, do you reflect that you are bidding me to live? Yes, I do so bid you, answered Morel, it is your duty. You have a calm, strong mind, Maximilian. Maximilian, you are no ordinary man. I make no requests or commands, I only ask you to examine my position as if it were your own, and then judge for yourself. The young man reflected for a moment, then an expression of sublime resignation appeared in his eyes, and with a slow and sad gesture he took off his two epaulettes, the insignia of his rank. Be it so, then, my father, he said, extending his hand to Morel, die in peace, my father, I will live. Morel was about to cast himself on his knees before his son, but Maximilian caught him in his arms, and those two noble hearts were pressed against each other for a moment. You know it is not my fault, said Morel. Maximilian smiled. I know, father, you are the most honorable man I have ever known. Good, my son. And now there is no more to be said, go and rejoin your mother and sister. My father, said the young man, bending his knee, bless me. Morel took the head of his son between his two hands, drew him forward, and kissing his forehead several times said, Oh, yes, yes, I bless you in my own name, and in the name of 3 generations of irreproachable men, who say through me, the edifice which misfortune has destroyed, Providence may build up again. On seeing me die such a death, the most inexorable will have pity on you. To you, perhaps, they will accord the time they have refused to me. Then do your best to keep our name free from dishonor. Go to work, labor, young man, struggle ardently and courageously, live, yourself, your mother and sister, with the most rigid economy, so that from day to day the property of those whom I leave in your hands may augment and fructify. Reflect how glorious a day it will be, how grand, how solemn, that day of complete restoration, on which you will say in this very office, "My father died because he could not do what I have this day done, but he died calmly and peaceably, because in dying he knew what I should do." My father, cried the young man, why should you not live? If I live, all would be changed. If I live, interest would be converted into doubt, pity into hostility. If I live, I am only a man who has broken his word, failed in his engagements, in fact, only a bankrupt. If, on the contrary, I die, remember, Maximilian, my corpse is that of an honest but unfortunate man. Living, my best friends would avoid my house; dead, all Marseille will follow me in tears to my last home. Living, you would feel shame at my name; dead, you may raise your head and say, I am the son of him you killed, because, for the first time, he has been compelled to break his word. The young man uttered a groan, but appeared resigned. And now, said Morel, leave me alone, and endeavor to keep your mother and sister away. Will you not see my sister once more? Asked Maximilian. A last but final hope was concealed by the young man in the effect of this interview, and therefore he had suggested it. Morel shook his head. I saw her this morning, and bade her adieu. Have you no particular commands to leave with me, my father? Inquired Maximilian in a faltering voice. Yes, my son, and a sacred command. Say it, my father. The house of Thomson and French is the only one who, from humanity, or, it may be, selfishness, it is not for me to read men's hearts, has had any pity for me. its agent, who will in 10 minutes present himself to receive the amount of a bill of 287,500 francs, I will not say granted, but offered me 3 months. Let this house be the first repaid, my son, and respect this man. Father, I will, said Maximilian. And now, once more, adieu, said Morel. Go, leave me, I would be alone. You will find my will in the secretary in my bedroom. The young man remained standing and motionless, having but the force of will and not the power of execution. Hear me, Maximilian, said his father. Suppose I was a soldier like you, and ordered to carry a certain redoubt, and you knew I must be killed in the assault, would you not say to me, as you said just now, go, father, for you are dishonored by delay, and death is preferable to shame. Yes, yes, said the young man, yes, and once again embracing his father with convulsive pressure, he said, be it so, my father. And he rushed out of the study. When his son had left him, Morel remained an instant standing with his eyes fixed on the door, then putting forth his arm, he pulled the bell.